Good morning, students. Welcome in the first session of this new class. The first chapter in biology for you is the fundamental unit of life. We will discuss this chapter. I think you have already learned this chapter in class 8. But here we are supposed to discuss something more in advanced stage. First of all, we should make a plan that what we have to learn in this class, and this should be listed under the head of targeted learning outcomes. First, you have to know the definition of the cell, then why it is called a fundamental unit of life, and the third point, you have to learn about the discovery of the cell. Later on, we will discuss about the cell theory, shape and size of the cell, types of the cell, and lastly, about the functions of the different organelles found in the cell. Take a start now. First of all, we should discuss about the definition of the cell. In fact, the body of all organisms is made up of a very small units called cells. A cell is capable of independent existence and can carry out all the functions which are necessary for a living being. Unicellular organisms are capable of independent existence, which shows a cell's capability to exist independently like in amoeba. Due to this, a cell is called the fundamental, structural and functional unit of living organisms and basic unit of life. In fact, in a very concrete line, this can be said as the cell is the fundamental, structural and functional unit of living being. Later, we should discuss about the discovery of cell and cell theory. Cell was first discovered by Robert Hooke in 1665. He observed that just like honeycomb, organisms are also composed of small compartments. He named these compartments as cells in Greek language. Cell theory, compiled by two scientists, Schleiden and Schwann, in 1839 and 40. They concluded 3 points. First, all living organisms are composed of cells. And second is, cell is the fundamental unit of life. And third point is, all new cells come from pre-existing cell. In fact, in a Greek language, they concluded a single sentence, omnis celluli cellula, which meaning that cell is originated from pre-existing cell. On that point, these inferences have been concluded that all living organisms are composed of cells. Cell is the fundamental unit of life, and all living beings are originated from pre-existing cells. And the third important point, shape and size of the cell. Cells vary in shape and size. They may be oval, spherical, rectangular, spindle-shaped, or totally irregular like the nerve cells. The size of cells also varies in different animals. Plants, most of the cells are microscopic in size, like red blood cells, RBC, while some cells are fairly large like nerve cells. Average size of the cells varies from 0.5 to 20 micron. Here, there are some interesting points. Which one is a smallest cell of the world? This is abbreviated as PPLO, means Neuropneumonia-like organisms, considered as the smallest cell. And the largest cell is the ostrich egg, which dimension is 125 mm into 135 mm. Like this, the longest cell of the human body is nerve cell, and the smallest cell considered in human body is a sperm, and the largest cell of the human body is ovum, while the longest cell of the human body is neuron or the nerve cell, about 90 centimeter in a length. After this, we are supposed to discuss about the types of the cells. Cells can be categorized in two types, prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. Prokaryotic cell. In some organisms, DNA and RNA, genetic substances, are bound by a membrane. This is termed as the nucleus. Prokaryotic cells are cells in which true nucleus is absent. They are primitive and incomplete cells. Prokaryotes are always unicellular organisms. Bacteria, blue-green algae are the examples of prokaryotic cells. Now about the eukaryotic cells. Eukaryotic cells are cells in which true nucleus is present. They are advanced complete cells. Eukaryotes include all living organisms, both unicellular and multicellular organisms, except bacteria and blue-green algae. Now we should suppose to list cellular structures. Number 1, plasma membrane. Number 2, cell wall. Number 3, protoplasm, cytoplasm, nucleoplasm, Golgi body, ribosomes, mitochondria, centrosomes and centrioles, plastids, lysosomes, vacuoles, endoplasmic reticulum, rough endoplasmic reticulum, and smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and the last, nucleus. Before the discussion of these cellular structures in detail, we should be in position to answer these questions. I would like to share these questions before further discussion. That what is cell? Cell is a basic structural and functional unit of life. Define cell theory. Cell theory concluded by Schleiden and Swan and compiled these points that cell is originated from pre-existing cell, and cell is a mass of protoplasm enclosed by a membrane having a nucleus or nuclear body. Cell capable to divide, and cell is the fundamental unit of life. These points are included in cell theory. Now, what are the main types of the cell? There are two types of the cell, prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell, on the basis of the presence of true nucleus or the absence of true nucleus. And if the cell presents in the plant body, that is called as the plant cell, and if the cell are present in the animal body, that is called animal cell. It might be prokaryotic and eukaryotic. We will discuss the structure and functions of the different organelles of the cell in next class. Now you should recap and recall these points up to you and try to answer above questions to write in your classwork copy. That's all. Have a nice day. Thank you.